morning. I'm Patricia Brooker, better known as Trish. I'm the Vice Chair of the Coalition of Culturally Competent Providers, and I represent the consortium on the Board of Directors for the organization. I believe this organization does a great job in ensuring equity and inclusion for providers, but also the people of color that we serve in Philadelphia.
Well, CCCP is an organization that was founded by a group of individuals who come from the provider community.
Our mission is to make sure mental health care in our area is culturally competent.
So what made me join CCCP and take on this responsibility as the executive director? I've always believed in partnerships with organizations. A lot of people felt as though years and years ago that, that is Ford and that's Chevrolet, we can never collaborate. But I believe there are a number of things that we can collaborate as organizations and partnering to better serve people.
Leaders want to make sure federal funding to help bring America back post-pandemic goes to where it's needed the most. State Senator Vincent Hughes was in Roxborough today, along with other legislators and the Coalition of Culturally Competent Providers. They're making a call for action, wanting to ensure the funding from the American Rescue Plan is equitably distributed amongst communities of color.
The coronavirus is not reportedly having a huge impact on the physical health of children, but how do we see it affecting the mental health of our youth?
Talking about more, I think longer, is the idea of the anxiety that's associated with this pandemic.
And throughout this pandemic, what we need to recognize also is everything has changed for them. They are used to the routine of going to school. They are used to the routine of having dinner with their family or being with their family, but now they are 24-hour roommates with their parents. The stress that they are going under and the anxiety is very high.
Really making sure all of our kids have language for things when things aren't going well. Being able to say, I'm feeling nervous, I'm feeling worried, give voice to those things that can get in the way of learning.
Definitely a lot of increased anxiety, students being fearful for their safety, students having anxiety about returning to school but on the virtual platform. They're feeling distressed that they're not going to be able to see their friends and their teachers the way they would normally see them.
I've also been working with our staff to learn how to pick up a student or identify a student that might have difficulties in the building.
I just wanted to say that Frankie's World does have the ability to take on a few more children, and we would like to do that. So we are prepared to have children come to us who have a variety of medical problems, who may be doing well within the school district under normal circumstances, but they can reach out to us at this time.
But children who have academic challenges, children who have IEPs, and children, with special education, a lot of those in-person interactions are lost, and these children start to fall through the cracks.
Yes, if I could just say a couple of things. One of the things that we're going to see an increase in is, of course, trauma, and our children reacting to the traumas that parents are having, losing jobs, losing home.
We've been operating in telehealth for 6 months, and it's been very effective in a lot of ways. I think it's going to be one of the lasting elements of the pandemic, is that we're going to be continuing to have telehealth as a large part of our counseling.
Delaware or Jersey or North Carolina and are working from home for a Philadelphia agency. So do we have to acknowledge the state that they're living in, those governing rules, those local rules? How does that work for staff that are now, you've let them be flexible, but they're not within your municipality working? How do those rules work? This is for Benjamin and Jessica.
Benjamin is going to talk about the long arm of the law. Basically, if you are working for a Philadelphia company that operates within Philadelphia's borders or provides services within Philadelphia's borders, you are subject to those rules.
If you're talking about a unionized workforce or a non-unionized workforce, my firm, the majority of the vaccination that we've done have been with a unionized workforce.
Subjective, and the mental health part, from my perspective, is both subjective and objective, but it's also just like everything else. You see these huge generational differences.
I can tell you what the graduate students are telling me they're looking for to stay in a job once they begin. And it comes down to two things: relationships with the people they work with, and second, the ability to grow in their careers.
I would add to be valued and appreciated.
I work a lot with my interns is they have to do a marketing job. So it's how do we help the public understand what we do so we can feel value and we can show value. But it's also helping high schools and guidance counselors, because if we're really talking about the pipeline, it starts early.
I just wanted to echo the sentiment about mentoring and role modeling. I do think like that's important. I'm also big on like storytelling. So I think sometimes we're forgetting in these recruitment opportunities to have people really share their stories, like how they got to where they got to.
Specific to the behavioral health space, what is your vision for our city?
That if I am the mayor of this city, we will prioritize mental and behavioral health, particularly because no longer in Black, brown communities is the issue whispered about. Wellness is something that should be ingrained and embedded into the fabric of everything that we do, from public education to our employees to families. And so mental and behavioral health and wellness will be a part of all of it.
How do you manage your mental health? Jerry Walker's last